party people. Well, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I am joined by Morgan Jackson for a game of The Invisible Labyrinth. The Invisible Labyrinth is a game for 2 to 5 players about branching timelines, uncertain futures, and escaping what seems inevitable. In it, you create a group of characters, and you build a web of timelines about all of the places those characters may end up. It's inspired by works like 999 9 Hours, Umimeko, Woebegone and the Garden of Working Paths. And the thing is, this game was really, really cool to experience in the way that, like, you don't just tell one story, but you see all of the possibilities, all of the paths that a story can take. Really interesting, really glad that we got to sit down and make this happen. Really fascinating stuff. I think that you're going to enjoy listening to it. It's a game that I think, like, I'm really excited about, and I hope that you are just as excited about. You can learn more about The Invisible Labyrinth at WeDidTheTimeWarpAgain.itch.io, or you can check the show notes for more information. With all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am really so excited. I'm sitting down with Morgan Jackson today. Morgan, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
I am really, really stoked for today's game. Why don't you take a moment at the very top to talk to our lovely listeners at home about what we are playing this week, as well as anything else that you've got going on that you might want them to know about.
Hello, I'm Morgan. I'm a tabletop games designer and LARP writer from beautiful New York City. Today we are going to be playing my game, The Invisible Labyrinth, which is a game about creating a network of branching timelines inspired by Microscope and, I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic? By Kara Surshin. It's a game I've been working on for a while. By the time this is out, it had better be published on itch with a final beautiful print layout, if we can get those last couple PDF notes finished. But yeah,
those
I'm
last
super
few
excited
notes
to play.
do be the worst, is the thing. It's the last handful of things to address are, in fact, the worst and most time-consuming part of the process. It's that last 5% is somehow the longest piece of a given project.
Yeah, it really is.
I am so excited. So we've got a tarot deck. Well, let me ask you, like, as we are sitting down to play today, what is on your mind as you're sitting down for this playthrough? What has got you excited for today? What are you feeling? What are you bringing to the table? Like, what are we digging into, and what are you looking forward to digging through play today?
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most excited about is that I've playtested this game a whole bunch of times, and most of my favorite playthroughs really are the two people, very focused, back and forth very quickly, games of it. It works in a larger group of like 2 to 5 players, but the 2-player games to me are really special, and I'm really excited to be recording in one of those.
I do, like, that's a thing that I really like. I do love sitting down for a 2-player game when you really feel that kind of like big, quick, just rapid building on ideas, and sort of like seeing how quickly things spiral when it's really just two people yes-anding each other. I think that you get into a really fun and interesting space, and I think that's going to lead us in some really compelling directions.
Spiraling is definitely the right verb for this game.
I'm so excited to hear that. So with that, talk us through how we're kicking off play. We've got a deck of tarot cards here, split into minor and major arcana. We've also got a Miro board here in front of us. As is tradition, I will grab a shot of this Miro board when the game is over, and share that on the website and in the episode art. So talk to us through about how we're kicking off play.
Yeah, listeners highly recommend checking out the Miro board. Hopefully this episode will make sense with just the audio, but we'll see. So in terms of kicking off play, I wrote a couple of game principles because this game is played really non-linearly and tells a story wildly out of order. Do you want to go through those principles, or should we jump into our setup?
Let's briefly go through the principles and then we'll jump in.
Awesome. I will summarize each of these points. There's a whole paragraph on them in the game doc, but I've done this enough that I can boil it down pretty quickly. So our principles are for Wandering the Labyrinth. It is a non-linear game that can be difficult to wrap your head around. After all, most of the stories we encounter happen in order from start to finish. This one will not. So, first principle, make choices now and make sense later. You can always go back and rewrite the past in order to make something we've seen happen make more sense. This can be literal in the form of like flashbacks and placing beats earlier in the narrative, later in the game, but it can be metaphorical too. Sometimes you experience the effect before you understand a cause. You'll only understand the crash of ceramic in the kitchen after you investigate what bowl fell off the counter. Leave it open to interpretation. Don't commit very hard. You can leave ambiguities to be resolved later. Cause problems. The driving question of this game is how do we get there from here? Don't be afraid to introduce a scene that contradicts an earlier story beat or an ending that makes no sense. Half the fun of the game is figuring out how to resolve those contradictions. Live in the details. It's useful to focus on a particular moment or timeline, ignoring the rest of the board. Jumping into a particular moment can give you a clear insight about how characters think and feel at that moment, and the consequences can spiral out later, rather than trying to keep everything in your head at once. But also, don't lose sight of the forest for the trees. Sometimes the details of a particular timeline don't matter that much in the grand scope of things. Sometimes you just need to get the hammer from the toolbox, and it doesn't matter there should be a dead body in the supply closet at the same time. And finally, break the rules. If we ever reach a point where we know what we need to do with this timeline to have the narrative we want and to have the story we want, do it. Even if it means, like, pulling half of the notes off the board and changing everything we already did. Have fun with it. It's not a rule set that you need to adhere to for any reason.
Love that. Love that.
So yes, in terms of setup, I like to start with wishes. I use these like along with lines of veils, which we discussed off mic. Wishes are what we're excited to see in the setting, in the world of the game. Fictional things, but also like components, plot beats we want to see. So yeah, anything you're particularly excited about in the to do a game about today?
I was reading through the text, and the 15 minutes from now sci-fi vibe is something that I'm really excited about. Like, a good, not quite cyberpunk sci-fi energy is really hitting at this moment. That's my brain has been kind of circling there for a while, and I'm kind of excited to really lean into that experience and lean into that headspace for a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah. I think alongside that, I want to add like inexplicable events that like still feel science fiction-y rather than magical.
Yeah.
Like psychic communications, but it's not like we're in the mind realm. It's like I'm psychically communicating with your computer somehow.
Yeah. That feels great. I really like that.
Anything else you want to add?
Nothing off the top of my head. I think I want to see where the cards, where the first few major Arcana cards take us, and then I think we'll kind of start to shape things out from there. I think we're locked into a vibe, and I want to kind of see where the cards kind of push us towards.
Sweet. In that case, we can pause, stop, take a break anytime we want. Because of how this game is in terms of like complexity and stuff, I have a whole set of rules for how we can like put the game down and come back to it, but also maybe we get it done in one recording. Knock on wood. So, to begin, we're going to discuss the setting we're interested in playing, 15 minutes into the future. Anything else you want to set up for the setting beyond the particular wishes we were very excited about?
I nothing comes to mind immediately. I'm feeling this. I think that this is a very broad playground for us to exist in, with a lot of toys and equipment. I'm trying, and I think I want to know, like, I think I want and I need a little bit of like the guidance from the first few cards that we're gonna pull to know the kind of story that we're gonna be branching out and kind of digging into.
Awesome. Yeah, I
I
agree.
think
I
where
think
I'm
this is
at.
more than enough to work with.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's draw our first major arcana. This is going to create our anchor. The anchor is a flavorful and important aspect of the setting, an ever-present technology, a type of psychic communication, or an aspect of the secret government facility everyone works at. If you would like to draw a major arcana from the Miro board.
All right, let's draw a major arcana. Major arcana has been drawn. It is the devil.
Good first pull. Let's go.
Good first pull. Good first pull. Going in juicy from the start.
Yeah, so, What do you think the devil means here? This is something that kind of permeates the setting, but is not necessarily particularly good or bad. Some games...
Sure.
Yeah.
So the devil, unearthing the guide. Well, at least I was gonna unearth the. I was gonna unearth the tarot guidebook for my Philly tarot deck, but it is officially buried somewhere on my desk and not in the box, which is the place where it should be. Jeff, get on that. This is a note for future Jeff. If you have not found the book for your tarot cards, find it on your desk somewhere. You're going to need it at some point. The things I know about the tarot card, the devil, are that it represents a certain kind of it represents a kind of freedom. It represents a kind of hedonism. It represents a kind of deal making. It represents, and I think all of those things tell me that we are dealing with, techno bandits. All of those things tell me that we are dealing with the technocratic underground. And that to me, gets my wheels spinning kind of immediately.
Yeah, I like
in a
that.
way that I'm real excited about. There's the combination of freedom, hedonism, choice, temptation, deal making, all speaks to a certain degree of illicit criminal underground. And it also probably doesn't help that I'm an episode or two away from finishing The Penguin. And so Gotham City Underground is on my mind. But that's where my head is at.
Yeah, I'm thinking an kind of a underground society that's existing alongside the world secretly in the shadows. Yeah.
Love that. That feels really good.
Hell yeah. Then let's draw our guide. This is another major arcana. This will be something helpful for our group of characters. Perhaps this is a glimpse of possible future salvation, a secret door, or a helpful NPC. And I can grab that one just for parody. Ooh, the Emperor.
What do we think? What jumps out to you as the Emperor?
So, traditionally, the Emperor is very much about, control and rules. Let me check what it means inverted.
I'm, rapid cycling through, to see if I can find... Because I have it here next to me, and I will never stop gushing about this, about my most treasured object. See if I can find... talk me through, what the Emperor inverted represents. Talk to me about what's on your mind, and then I'm going to see if I can find the Emperor in my tarot deck so that I can talk about who is on the Emperor
Yeah,
card.
So inverted, it's domineering and rigid thinking. The right side up, it's rules that are helpful. Yeah, I think our guide here will be the fact that... Well, actually, I will go with the Emperor inverted. And it's the fact that, there's always... And this is going to be kind of a metaphorical guide. Usually I'll be it's a robot that says hi and loves you. But I think here we could do something the fact that strict rules always have loopholes, and any, really coherent and intense system will always have ways to circumvent it.
That feels great, especially because I did find the Emperor card in my tarot deck. And, it's one of those things where a lot of the major arcana, I should be able to just kind of guess based on the name of the arcana who is on it. It's Ben Franklin. I should have known that the Emperor was Ben Franklin. I should have just guessed that the Emperor was Ben Franklin. But that really tracks to a sense of like, it almost gives me, I mean, it kind of affects that sort of like Ben Franklin, Poor Richard's Almanac, like folk wisdom vibe.
Yeah.
It's a certain kind of Cockney like crook sensibility of like, if you know the tricks of the trade, you can kind of move unnoticed and kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, and I think that this is like a specific set of techniques that people teach to each other, like the rules of hacking, you know?
Great. I flipped the next card.
Oh, let's go.
And I'm so excited because our next card is the adversary. And I flipped the card and I am so excited because I know this card, and also I intimately know the Philly Tarot deck card that is represented by the world. It is the most important thing in the world to me. I can certainly find it. Because it really, you need to see it. So I'm just going to drop the visual link. And also it tells me immediately who our adversary or what the energy of our adversary is. But I also want to get your reaction to seeing the Philly Tarot deck's world card live so that you know the energy. Just gonna let that sit. Could you describe to me what you're seeing on the Philly Tarot deck world card?
I would love to describe this. There's pretty much no image in the world I would like to describe more. What we have here, with beautiful wreaths and ribbons, is a nude Danny DeVito, with a beautiful shawl wrapping around him, and the four heads of the rest of the cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in every corner. Danny DeVito is carrying two batons.
So, I think that the natural extension of our like system of, as long as you don't get caught, you're fine, and as long as you know how to like bypass the system, you're fine, is it's also chaos. Like it is a rife space for grifters, for schemers, for any group of 5 dipshits who happen to get their hands on a laser. I was talking about this with some dear Moonshot friends over the weekend, but like that it is a space like this sort of digital underground, this sort of techno underground is a space that is rife for what I can only describe as Spider-Man villainy. I'm a guy who got his hands on a shock cannon. I guess I'm gonna blow some shit up. Like it is a space that is rife for and that like there's 2 very obvious problems with that. There's 2 very obvious dangers there. One being people could get put in danger, and also that could kill the very sweet thing that we've got going. Like that could, like, you could dry up the space of both freedom and prosperity that we have carved out for ourselves if you don't know how to fucking handle your shit. That's a problem for everybody. Like you're putting a whole lot of people in danger because you're really eager to like put on a robot fist and call yourself like Punch Man and blow up some cars. Like you're really eager to blow some shit up, and that's going to cause problems for all of us.
Hell yeah. No, that's perfect to me. I really, yeah. Very interesting, like, what is chaos, what is order type beat here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm excited. So those are our 3 main setting elements. We will now shuffle them into our motif deck that we'll draw on for prompts during the game. And before we move on, we can now discuss the setting in a little more detail, setting elements of the motif deck as the basis for, like, what the rest of the world we're playing in is. We can come up with maybe even some big secrets. Maybe we're secretly on the moon. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
My instinct right now is honestly we're in like cyberpunk Philly.
Cyberpunk Philly feels great. I'm also like the setting element that I'm leaning is not superhero but super villain a little bit. Like I said, I mentioned the Penguin earlier, but like that kind of vibe like has really kind of emerged of like a like sci-fi things are abound and also criminals are abundant, and like what it means to be a criminal is on my mind, like what it means to be what it means to be a monster, what it means to be a criminal. These are all things that are very prominently on my mind. Like, so that kind of space is very exciting to me. How are you feeling about that? Is there anything you want to like add, remove, change, build, etc.?
I really like that. I really like the idea of kind of one of the things associated with the kind of technocratic underground we have of just everyone's kind of doing supervillain shit. No one is trying to be a hero here. And it is very like we're all a little bit edgy.
And I kind of like there's a plot point there's like a subtextual plot point in the Penguin TV show that I think I want to like kind of steal outright, because talent borrows and genius steals, of saying like maybe that's an explicit thing. There's a plot point or like a subtextual plot point that's kind of like it's never made like super explicit, but it's like implicitly spoken to early on in a few background details that like all of the things in the Penguin happen at a specific moment when Batman has just kind of fucked off for a while. Like something has prompted like the superheroes in a given city to be gone, whether that is a cosmic level threat or they just suffered a defeat or something has occurred where like that presence is not here. And like that is kind of, I think, the space where we are operating at this moment. Like whether it's that we're like this is a background thing while a hero's origin story is happening, or like something has occurred where they have markedly left. Like that is what has occurred, which is sort of spread this digital underground, this techno underground to kind of prosper.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Other setting thoughts I've had is kind of a very it's a little bit like it's what if 90s went cyberpunk? Like
sure, yeah, 90s
LAN
cyberpunk
parties
feels great.
and grimy bars with neon everywhere.
CRT computers.
Yeah.
That feels great.
The idea of like 15 supervillains getting together for a LAN party to hack a bank or something. All right. Now we can create our characters. We will draw one major arcana into our hands and will not tell each other what it is. If you were playing in person, we'd be playing this on a big corkboard, and you draw one major arcana and keep it face down in front of you. Use that as inspiration to create your character with name, pronouns, short description, and also, don't say this out loud, create a huge secret your character has inspired by the major arcana you've drawn. Write that down. We'll introduce our characters, but not each other's secrets, and discuss our character's relationship.
All right, I know my characters. Okay. Yeah. Let me.
I have a description ready.
I also have one ready. I feel very good about.
Same. I feel great about my character. Would you like to introduce them to me?
I will introduce my character first. I am playing August Collier. August, her is a techno art thief. She visually, very, like obnoxiously vintage aesthetic. I have open. This is the second time in the last few weeks that I have like riffed on specifically Audrey Hepburn and Grace Kelly, as represented in the Philadelphia Story, and the Grace Kelly movie that was a remake of a Philadelphia Story whose name escapes me at this exact moment. But like that's the aesthetic notes that pop into my head for August, like big chunky sunglasses, always wearing a very oversized fashion hat, obnoxiously like hot HAUTE fashion, obnoxiously, high style, art thief, very specifically, art thief, has a taste for the fineries and has a joy of obtaining those fineries for herself and for anybody willing to pay for her exorbitantly high cost of labor. I don't come cheap, especially because technology and we tend to have an agreement. So doors simply tend to open for me. I guess they know how important I am.
Incredible. My character is Hardison Hartley. I think just Hardy for short. She, her pronouns. My like celebrity face cast I think is gonna be Jodie Comer, but like Jodie Comer on her worst day. No makeup ever. Long blonde hair and a messy ponytail. Dark bags under the eyes, tired all the time. She is a like tech support for hackers and thieves from this community of just will intervene with whatever computer system you need intervened with and make it do whatever you need it to. But is not going to look happy while doing it. She's very much a t-shirts and jeans 24/7 type of girl. She's probably in her like late 30s, maybe even her early 40s. She's never told her age to anyone. Yeah. And so, yeah, we can put our characters on these pink sticky notes, just for easy reference.
I will remove my secret before I copy and paste.
Yes.
Great. All right, so we've got our characters, we've got our scenario, we've got our world. So I think it's time to start like envisioning what the branching timelines and situations start to unfold.
So one last step with our characters.
Okay,
is
what do we
that
got?
Our characters know each other in some way before the game begins. We'll each ask each other what our character... Well, okay. In turn order, and the first turn of every round will be taken by the character with the most unearned confidence. I think that's Hardison.
Well, I did say operating off of the term unearned, probably.
So in turn order...
God, it's too easy to get into this character.
It's perfect.
This is troubling, frankly.
Listen, the heart wants what it wants, and sometimes what the heart wants is for doors to open for you and to look like Grace Kelly.
Yeah,
So yeah, tell the player to the left of your character, obviously there's two of us, so we just do this to each other, what our character needs from theirs, and they'll respond with why they can't give it to you. And what Hardison needs from August... Hardy needs August to tell her who her boss is, which I know that August does not have a boss.
Right.
Morgan, know that. Hardison maybe doesn't.
Love that. I really, really love that.
And so yeah, why, beyond the obvious, why wouldn't August ever tell that Hardison?
August has a lot of walls in place. Like August, if you were to ask August point blank why she won't tell Hardison who her boss is, it's because honey, a mystery is never as an answer. Honey, an answer is never as satisfying as a mystery. But the actual answer is that August has very specific walls up for very specific reasons. And she does not let people in because, like, she understands that when those walls come down, it does change everything forever. And like she is keeping those walls as far up as possible, including from herself at all times.
Oh, I'm obsessed with her.
It's only going to get bigger. Like, it is only going to get larger and larger. What do I think August needs from Hardison? Tech support for hackers and thieves. I'm going to invert it a little bit. I'm going to say it's actually the same. It's actually the same need, but inverted. A list of Hardison's clients. I think the thing that August needs is a list of Hardison's clients. You have a client list that's a mile long, including some folks with some very, very deep pockets, and frankly, some very, very lucrative connecting opportunities for somebody with a particular freelance skill set. And I think that there is a almost obsession with like getting Hardison to like open up some of those doors. Why hasn't that happened, or why won't that happen?
Oh, I love it. I think that the reason Hardison tells August is, well, client confidentiality is very important to me. You wouldn't want me telling everyone I work for you, would you? But the real reason is that she cannot keep track of her own list and
Great.
is not organized enough to know.
That's fantastic. I really like that. That's good. That's good energy. This is great. Okay, great. I love these two characters. I love this world that we've built. This is good energy. I'm feeling really excited. We're cooking here.
Hell yeah. No, I love these characters. So yes, now we get to start exploring our branching timeline. We start with the Curtain Rise, which is the first part of our timeline, and it's the first scene we care about as players and storytellers. Our characters should all be present at the Curtain Rise. We can discuss a little bit about the situation, and then we'll each share a detail about it. So yeah, where is Lights Up? First scene of the visual novel is how I tend to think of it.
Where is Lights Up? Lights Up is a moment of absolute chaos, right? Lights Up, I think that where I want to start, or where I think that we need to start, is we've established two characters who are astoundingly competent and who have skills that have set them up for a tremendous amount of success, which means that we need to start at the moment where things have gone as wrong as they can conceivably go, where suddenly everything is out the window in an instant. Like, where like things have exploded.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
That's, I think, where we kick off.
Hell yeah. Okay, I think the detail I'm gonna add to that is that Hardy's gun just ran out of ammunition.
That's great. That's good. I am going to add to this. I'm going to slap down a second orange card here to throw in an additional detail that ties us into our adversary. God, I'm trying to think how I even want to prompt this, because I want to just grab like the first bit of like sensory or visual or referential thing that pops into your head. Cause like what is the first like dumb thing that you can think of that you experienced recently that you can spin into an obnoxious Spider-Man style guy with a gun superpower?
Boy. Oh, I've had some real obnoxious experiences lately.
Trying to think, like, what's the last movie that I've watched recently, or show that I've watched, or thing that I'm like, there it is, that I'm like, that's the thing, right? because somebody has just blown open a door or blown down a wall and is like is themed after something real silly, and I'm trying to decide what it is. I don't know why bowling popped into my head, but I'm going with bowling.
Oh, bowling!
And it's specifically the Duck Pin Gang, and they wear bowling shirts and elaborate like ivory duck beaks or duck bills, duck bill style masks. And they carry like big cannons. They have like bowling ball cannons. So they carry big like bazooka cannons that fire a bowling ball that tears through things. They're the Duck Pin Gang. The Duck Pin Gang has just blown open. Oh, like this, we open on Lights Up very specifically is, like our opening sequence is, a heist that is almost successful. Like we see, August and Hardison both at their absolute, like we see August at her absolute best. We watch her walk through a museum. There is like a very elaborate jade statue, and we are watching August walk through this museum. A bunch of like cameras are all going. As she walks in, she gives a flick of her wrist in disgust, and the cameras turn away. And we watch her kind of like adjust her like very nice cape, or very nice like fashion-y cloak cape. We watch her adjust it over her shoulders as she's walking, and we see like a laser grid, and she's got one of the long penguin cigarette holders in her mouth, and she like gives it a puff and blows a little bit, and all of the lasers just shut off and let her walk through without an issue. And we watch her effortlessly walk through all of this, and then a wall explodes, and she just mutters, "Well, that wasn't supposed to happen." And then we cut to moments later. Hardison is fully out of bullets. The two of us are ducked behind a wall. A bunch of knuckleheads and duckbills with big giant bazookas that fire bowling balls are like knocking the things over and smashing, grabbing. And that's Curtain Rise.
I'm obsessed. It's perfect. Do you want me to read the next step while you type? Or
yes, please.
Okay, great.
Let's because I got so many notes on the Duck Pin Gang that I need to put on this call.
You summoned them fully formed from the ether. So yeah, the next step is that we'll each create our own coda. The coda is a possible ending to the timeline. It's a possible conclusion to the Curtain Rise. It's not inevitable. None are more true than any others, but some may have more revelations than others. These don't need to lead into being like, here's the good end, here's the bad end. Let them be confusing and compromised. We'll solve the problem of how we get there from here during the game. You don't need to add too much detail again. We'll be able to come back to these later and flesh out any important details, like with the Curtain Rise, and then give it a name after describing it, so that we can easily talk about, oh, I need to get to the Queen with the Sword ending from here, so we should introduce that second secret bowling ball into this timeline.
Now, here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a point in the game where we need? Is there a point in the game where we need to hold on to our secret and reveal it, or is like at what point are we revealing a character's secret?
That's a great question. You can reveal a secret at any time that it's narratively appropriate. That's like narratively appropriate. It does not need to be your turn. Just anytime. I like to try and set things up so someone else will make a scene where it makes sense for my secret to come out. Okay. And kind of the engine of the game is that when all of the secrets are revealed, we move into the end game to clean up the board rather than generating new stuff.
Okay, good. Okay, then that's going to change what my coda is going to be, because like one of the possible codas that really exists is very tied into my character's secret, but I don't want to reveal that secret just yet. I'm going to instead build a coda that I think optimally sets up the biggest punch for that secret to come about.
I'm
going to sit down. All right, I've written down my coda. I've set it here next to the coda card.
Amazing. I have dragged my coda over to a little further from the curtain rise, over down on the right.
I'll put mine right next to it.
Sweet. So these codas we can actually just kind of put anywhere as long as they're far away from the curtain rise, because our timeline will be like building out from the middle. And yeah, next to each other works just fine. Oh yes, I need to name it.
Well, does it make sense for me to put it elsewhere is the question.
Yeah.
Because I could...
Yes, like, it'll end up kind of like a big spider web across Then I will put it here on the far corner. Ooh,
ambitious. So that we've kind of got some space in between to really kind of like build out.
Hell yeah.
I'll pull it in a little bit. There we go. That feels good. So that we've kind of got some space to build out in one way or the other. I'm feeling pretty good about this. My coda is that I've written that August sells her soul and becomes the queen of crime. Specifically, like, this is someone that is doing this kind of for reasons that will be revealed, but also just kind of for the love of the game. Like, this is somebody who's kind of fucking around, and this is somebody that's just, doing it for doing its sake, doing it to prove that she can. And I think in some ways her worst possible ending is changing from a person who does it for the love of the game to changing to and doing it for kind of a thrill and a joy of being free, to changing it to a person who does it for the want of power and for the want of like hurting, becoming a force of exploitation as opposed to a force of chaos. And I think that is kind of where my coda exists in.
I love it. Do you want to pop a name on that so that it's easy to refer to?
I will. I will drop a second card on top of it, and we will call it the queen pin ending.
Nice. My coda the name is Illegal Defense. The court case is being live streamed with millions of viewers. The feed cuts. Locals look out their windows and they see smoke on the horizon.
Love it. Love it.
Not gonna explain a single more word there. All right. So now we can get into the main cycle of play. We'll take turns adding to the timeline. Each turn has 2 parts. First, you'll create a beat, and then there's a whole set of options that I can go through when we want to do those. So creating a beat, if you start with prompt cards, so you draw from the motif deck, which are our setting elements we discussed earlier, and a minor arcana to make a prompt. I have a prompt table in the back. Given that we already have guns, I actually have 2 prompt tables in the back. One is a darker table that has, like, murder and stuff in it, and the lighter table does not have murder in it.
Sure.
We already have, like, guns and, like, a real gritty crime vibe. Which table do you want to use? They're nearly identical, aside from, like, people die in one of the tables.
Here's what I'm gonna posit. I think we take it on a case-by-case basis.
Hell yeah.
I think we bounce back and forth. I think we'll probably be drawing from the darker one up front because we're having cannonballs fired at us, but I think we play this by ear a little bit.
Yeah. That sounds good. So I've drawn the devil, which means that this scene is going to involve the essence of the technocratic underworld in some way. And I have drawn the Queen of Wands, which has the prompt, a moment of comfort that's interrupted by a dangerous threat, or that involves an unexplainable event, or that strangely goes exactly as planned. I'm going to put this beat, I'm not going to connect it to anything yet, but I am going to put it somewhere near the curtain rise. And I think this scene is Hardy in a hospital bed, and August is, with your permission, I don't want to do anything with your character that you would not do with her. August is kind of looking over her and, like, reading a book to her when the fire alarm suddenly goes off.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm not gonna escalate that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want. No, I'm not gonna throw gasoline on this fire. I have to throw gasoline on the fire.
This is a game where you want gasoline on the fire. Yeah.
On every single fire. Cause this feels like a great allusion to the secret. The fire alarm goes off. I'm gonna add to this sentence. Reads a book to her as medical, as here's what we're even gonna add to this, as classified military medical nanobots.
Love it.
Just like throwing in that detail that there are in this beat there are illegal classified military nanobots repairing injuries in a way that feels like it shouldn't be happening.
Oh, I love it. I'm concerned about what August has going on. And for my next part of my turn, I think I will create another beat. But this one, I'm going to link up directly to the Queen Pin ending. And it's a very simple beat. Hardy tosses her filing cabinet in the river.
That's great. Okay, good. Good.
Leads into August selling her soul. So the other things you can do on your turn, now that it is your turn, first you'll add a beat, and then we can play out a scene where we actually jump in and do some roleplay. We can add a link, or you can add a link, which is just connect two things on the timeline, maybe with a little bit of explanation. Add a new coda, so new ending. Add a detail to another scene so we can go back and add some foreshadowing for events that have already happened later. You can always just add two beats like I did. And you can draw a new secret for your character on your turn.
All right. Do we reshuffle the devil back into the motif deck?
We do not until we've drawn through the whole deck.
Okay.
Because of the limited number, if you don't, then you sometimes wind up with games very focused on one bit of the fiction that ignore the others.
Great. Okay. Great. I've drawn the Emperor. That feels good. And I'm going to draw my minor arcana. The King of Wands.
I swear I shuffled these.
Where am I at? I'm going to scroll down. Someone takes control and does something helpful that's interrupted by a dangerous threat that involves an unexplainable event that strangely goes exactly as planned. Someone takes control that goes exactly as planned that is tied into this. Okay. This does match exactly what I had in mind, and like I think I'm gonna tie this specifically to illegal defense, and it is gonna follow. And I'm just gonna write, oh fuck, Event Horizon is back. And I'm gonna draw this connection here. So we have predicated this on saying, and I think this is fun because it like specifically tying it to the illegal defense and tying it to Smoke on the Horizon. The beat that I am adding is looking out the window and seeing cyberpunk techno Superman just like floating down as there is smoke on the horizon and knowing immediately that your world of back alley loopholes and criminal dealings, shit, Superman's back.
Oh, I love it.
That's gonna change things immediately.
Yeah, sure is.
That's the beat that I'm throwing in. And let me see what my storytelling options are. I can make another beat. I can create a new coda. I can add a detail. I can create a new secret. Or I can play out a scene. I'm going to add another beat. We're going to pull our third card, which is the world. I'm going to pull a minor arcana, which is, what is that? The Two of Cups. The Two of Cups here is an accusation is leveled that makes an opportunity vanish, that brings everything we knew into question, that opens a secret door. An accusation is leveled. I'm going to add a beat, and I'm going to tie it to a beat that you've got here. That's what we're going to do here. I'm going to tie it to Hardy tosses her filing cabinet in the river. Word spreads that Hardy... if you are... I'm going to say... Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to put an or on this and say that Hardy or August is state's evidence.
Ooh, interesting.
That's my pitch. If you're cool with that being a beat that one of the two of us is suspected of being a rat, that's the beat.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. I'm gonna do a beat coming off of our curtain rise, because I want to see us get out of this mess with the Duckpin gang. This is just in the chaos of the Duckpin gang attacking. Hardy is out of bullets. She bashes open a wall panel and finds a terminal where she quickly manages to flood the museum with a mix of sprinklers and the fire suppression system. Complete disaster. Everything is wet now. And maybe the bowling balls are not firing quite as well. And then I think I'm gonna have us play out a scene, which is also going to be coming separately off the curtain rise. In this timeline, Hardy has not found the panel. Scenes are like beats in the way they are on the timeline, except we choose a question that we'd like answered by the end of the scene. This could be a detail about the world, how a character might react to a situation, their feelings about something, and then we roleplay as our characters until we answer the question. And the question I'm going to propose here, is... how does August get Hardy to focus on the job instead of getting out?
Love that. Love that. Love that. So, setting the scene, I think August is like jammed behind, we're both behind, like having taken cover. Bowling balls are being fired at like rocketing speeds through walls. Duckpin gang members are grabbing paintings and like walking out. And yeah, talk to me about where Hardy's headspace is at in that moment.
Yeah, I think Hardy is basically like pulling on wall panels and like trying to get into the alarm system that's going off, and is currently like, we need to get to an exit now. We gotta just give up here.
August is almost alarmingly calm and is like watching like I think like looks at Hardy when she says that with a look of not even like mockery, not even like anger, straight up confusion. Like it is a look of like, you like has said something that does not compute on August's face, and she just goes, "But I don't have my statue yet."
Who gives a shit about your statue? They're firing bowling balls at us.
Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. But that's why I'm here. I want my statue. I have a whole gallery showing for the statue.
And I'd like a new car, but unfortunately,
Do you want a new car? We can get you a new car.
I mean, just generally, no, I'm fine. It's fine. No, I was just trying to say that sometimes we have to try again sometime later. Can you?
Okay, but we can revisit the new car angle. Like, if you want me to go grab a car, I mean, it feels a little bit like slumming it, but I mean, if you don't
need
you're
to care
worried about
the
your
car
wheels
at all, August, we just need to get out of here so that we can come back later and get your statue.
And I think she looks. She's like, "But I'm here now." You know what? Hold. And like you see, for a moment, August like readjust her sunglasses, shake it out, and go and like shake her her shoulder muscles for a second, and in front of Hardy's eyes, like the locking system that you're working with just like shuts off. It just pops and clicks. And like the lights in the room that we're in, very specifically, as they are like firing cannons in like adjacent spaces, the lights in the room that we're in click off and we are in darkness. And she's there. We can leave whenever we like, but can we grab my statue first?
Hardy just kind of blinks at her and goes, "You're telling me how you did that? Because if you have a neural jack, I need to know."
I've told you a million times, security systems and I have an agreement.
And I've told you, okay, let's just go get your... And we hear a boom in the background as two bowling balls collide into each other.
Mm-hmm. And she stands up and stands up kind of like effortlessly, I think like effortlessly walks over. And actually I'm gonna bridge a scene and a beat here. I'm going to bridge a scene and a beat because I do want to build towards revealing a secret before we wrap. I want to reveal a secret real badly. Like effortlessly walks over, waits until Hardy is out of space, watches a couple of these duck pin gangs, couple of them all point their cannons at her as she like emerges, and she just sighs and goes, "Boys, are we really going to be this stupid? Fire away." And like as they fire, she like snaps her fingers and their guns explode. And like she walks over, effortlessly grabs the statue, comes back and like sees waiting outside, so the escape was successful. A badly injured Hardy.
Perfect. Yes. And yeah, we can get the arrow coming out of the beat.
Yeah.
Or the scene going over to...
So there we go. Yeah, pull it that way. There we go.
Yeah, I've done enough games of this on Miro to know the ins and outs of its bizarre arrows system. All right, that is my turn. Good ass scene.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
I'm going to draw a card. So we'll shuffle these back up. We'll shuffle up our motifs. Flip the stack. Drop that there. We'll draw the card. Oh, I didn't shuffle it. Shuffle the stack. So we're back with the devil. Piling these up. Our motif is the two of cups.
Ooh.
Is that 2 of cups? What is that number? What number is this? 2. Yeah, there's 2 cups there.
Oh, I think the thing you drew previously was the 3 of cups.
Oh, okay. Well then we'll call this the 3 of cups.
Yeah. Time is our is what we make
dangerous,
of
a dangerous challenge. A dangerous challenge that makes an opportunity vanish, brings everything we know into question, or opens a secret door. All right. Great. 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 Okay, good. This will be the scene that we leave it on, and I don't know which of our two endings we're going to point towards, but I know what the beat and the scene are going to be. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to grab it. I have written down the beat, which is that August effortlessly kills Big Turkey Duckpin. And the scene, is I'm just gonna prompt it outright. And in prompting the scene, I'm gonna ask the question: how does Hardy react to August's secret?
Oh boy.
You're in the hospital bed. August is reading a book. And a fire alarm goes off, and suddenly you feel through your body like a humming, a buzzing. Medical, military grade, top secret nanobots are like effortlessly repairing all of the injuries on your body as August like nonchalantly reads a book.
August?
Yes.
Did you pull some strings? Because I do not think this was approved for my care plan.
Of course I did. I'm incredible. I'm immaculate.
I know you're
I'm a
incredible,
once-in-a-generation talent.
You're not, like, secret medical technology incredible? Last time I checked, no offense.
I mean, don't underestimate me.
Clearly I have been.
And, I think, the fire alarm goes off, the cameras switch off. Hardy, I think it's time you and I had a very serious conversation.
Oh, no.
You seem worried.
Serious conversations don't usually tend to be fun.
What if I told you? Have you ever wondered why technology and I have an agreement?
Not particularly. I assumed you were just kind of down low, a really good hacker on the DL.
I appreciate that. And frankly, that is the image that I would really like to present. And I think that as the preeminent tech support individual in this city, engaged in our field, I worry as ruffians, plebeians, pretenders to our art form, continue to smash and grab their way through Event Horizon's absence, it's going to become harder and harder for me to maintain the illusion that I am simply a very good hacker. I want you to name your price, Hardy. I want you to name your price for what it's going to cost to keep you on retainer as my sole client running OPSEC for some very important information that I need to not fall into public hands.
Oh, no. Hardy is just grimacing, and massaging her temple. And if the answer is there's no price I can do that at?
Well, then, look, if there's no price, this conversation never happened. This, job never happened. You will wake up in your bed tomorrow, perfectly fine, without a memory of, with a perfectly fine implanted set of memories of the last 12 hours. It was a perfectly normal day. You watched one too many movies and fell asleep on your couch.
Oh, that's not gonna work for me either, huh?
It's a pretty simple arrangement. It's a pretty simple deal.
Maybe it's simple for you.
Would it help if I told you that the information that I'm about to reveal to you is very fucking cool?
It would not help, but go ahead. Listen, Listen, I can make sure no one else hears what you're about to tell me, for sure.
Okay. And she, for the first time that you've known her, how long have you known August?
Ooh, I bet we've been working together for maybe... I think we're at, 11 months. I feel like if you have a catastrophic disaster early, you don't get, this. If you have it way later on, so they've already figured it out. So I think that's maybe the sweet spot.
How long into your partnership, your working relationship with August, did you realize you've never seen her without her sunglasses?
I don't think Hardy realized that until she took them off.
She takes them off, and it's Matrix numbers down the eyes.
Yo!
It's about my family tree, Hardy. I'd really like to keep on just being a really fun art thief. I don't want to be Event Horizon's daughter.
Hardy just passes out from that.
Right back to reading the book with no qualms. All right, we'll talk when you wake up.
Just some medical alert is just going wow, the cortisol levels here are unbelievable. Something wild has happened to this patient.
I think just further emphasizing the sheer power level at play. It's like the cortisone levels spike and then the screen blinks and they all systems show as perfectly normal. It is fully Superman techno shit at play.
God, hell yeah.
And she's just like, all right, we'll talk when you wake up. It's fine. I'm in no rush. And that is the end of my turn. Do we want to just freeform talk through which of the endings we think we're heading towards at this moment before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think that actually this can kind of split up.
Yeah, talk to me about where you're seeing the split. Let's kind of head towards a wrap point as we just kind of freeform talk about where we're heading towards the two collective endings that we've got on the table.
Yeah, so I think in one timeline, Hardy wakes up and basically says, yeah, I'm working with you, August. Let me clean up my apartment and I'm all in on whatever your deal is. And I think that is the world that includes the Queen Pin ending. I think there are also happier endings for August.
Yeah.
With Hardy just fully bought in. The other ending, Hardy wakes up, sneaks out of the hospital when August maybe looks away, real escapes hours and goes to her manager and demands to be reassigned, because her secret was the Justice card, which is Hardy was in fact an undercover cop sent by the extremely corrupt mayor to figure out the CEO of the crime syndicate, which is, as we know, just a complete misunderstanding of the situation. She has been utterly overwhelmed trying to figure out how to tell this to her boss. And I think that she doesn't get a reassignment. She winds up being part of a nightmarishly messy, bad court case that runs over to the illegal defense ending, where I think Event Horizon destroys the courtroom rather than let them prosecute their kid.
I like that a lot. I will also reveal that my secret card was the sun.
Oh, good.
And as soon as I drew the sun, I was like, okay, great. Sun, Superman, great. My secret has to be that I am Superman's daughter. I was like that. And then with what I'd already built, I was like, that's such a funny secret to be like, yeah, I'm just kind of a dipshit art thief, but also I don't want any. It's big. Guess who's a nepo baby energy. But
it's
the idea
stellar.
that she's it's now getting to a point where my secret's about to come out. I think that the third, I'm even gonna put a third like coda on the thing on the field, which is like ties into the beat of like August rolling up on the head of the Duckpin family, Big Turkey Duckpin, which is a name I'm very proud of, and I'm gonna keep saying
It's
it 'cause
really
I think
good.
It's really funny.
We breezed past it. Big Turkey Duckpin is a perfect supervillain name.
There's a coda. There's a third coda that's even on the table here, which is I'm not gonna like write anything out here beyond just the Guardian Angel ending, which is like following the thread of Hardy goes on the run, demands to be reassigned. There becomes this whole dynamic of like, all right, well, I told her my secret and she wasn't interested, but like I'm going, like, there's a whole, in my mind, there's also like a whole thread of like August specifically shows up at like Duckpin headquarters and just like eviscerates this gang who like put out word that like, who like got word that Hardy was there, or like had some sort of lead on it, and just becomes this entire second thread of, which like might be a coda, might be a beat, but like bleeds into this entire vibe of like, I'm protecting my friend. Like, you were a person that looked out for me and you have kept my secret. So whichever ending it goes towards, like, just eviscerates anyone as violently as possible that tries to like put hands on the person that I have given my secret to.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And that pushes August in any number of wild directions, but I think it's just a really interesting growth of that character.
Yeah, and I think there's an ending, I'll also slap a extra coda down, where Hardy is fully bought in, but stops August from selling her soul to become the queen of crime, and it's more of a, like, let's get one last beautiful piece of art for your collection, and then get out of Dodge together. Find something else for us to do, to work on together.
One last job.
One last job, yeah. And it goes perfectly, as the name implies.
That feels great. This is, and I think that's game. This is so good. Like, the energy here is so electric. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was wondering how it would hold up in a 90-minute to 1 hour format, and I'm very happy that we got some, like, still got some real branches to the timeline.
Yeah, we got some real branches. I really love the uncertainty. I love the like the sense of like, we told where we've taken the story, but like these are all the places it could end up. This is so good. What was your favorite moment from play?
I really loved when you were like, August has never removed her sunglasses. What's under there? I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be something wild under there, and the Matrix lines reveal, just perfect, top tier for me. I also really like the classic thing happening where we realized midway through a scene that it connects perfectly up to a beat we just had there floating. That's one of my favorite things in this game, is like, you just throw some stuff out there, and then 10 minutes later you realize, or 10 minutes, half an hour, 33 hours later, you realize it connects perfectly with something unrelated you're doing right now.
Oh yeah, and like I would like, this is one of those it's one of those things where like, this is going on my list of games to play just with people off mic, because I can see how this would hit so much differently, like slow and, you know, with like a large group of just kind of throwing shit at a wall and then watching those pieces come together, that like feels really exciting to me.
Yeah, I designed it as a one-shot game, and then one of my recent sessions was a 3-installment game about the most toxic Yuri you've ever seen at a boarding school. It's a game that's like, really, you can make the timeline very big and it still holds up, I think.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for playing this with me. This was an absolute joy. Real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you, your work in the game online?
Yeah, you can find my work at wedidtheTimeWarpAgain.itch.io, all one word. That is where you can find this game, some of my other games. I should hopefully be publishing a LARP on there relatively soon, called The Very Long Dinner Party. It'll probably go up after this publishes, but we'll see. And then you can find my music at wedidthetimewarpagain.bandcamp.com. And then otherwise I'm not really a social media person at this point. If you know me on Discord, DM me. But
frankly, jealous. I'm not gonna lie. Especially at this moment, a little jealous.
Yeah, I have not used Twitter for more than 5 minutes since, 2022. It's been great.
Jealous. Whoa, but it could be me. Well, thank you so much. This was fantastic. This was such a joy. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Morgan for coming on to the show. That game was just so fucking interesting. And hearing the way that the story we told came out was just cool and neat and weird and different. And it brought something really joyful to the recording process and to the act of play. This game fucked. Be sure to pick up your own copy of the game at wedidthetimewarpagain.itch.io or check the show notes for more information. And as always, if you want to learn more about the show, you want to follow us on social media, there's a lot of easy ways you can do that. You can find us on pretty much whichever social media you prefer, at Party of One Pod or Jeff Stormer, depending. And if you enjoy the show and you want to support it, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast. And join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/partyofonemerch. Or if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener-submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.
Never gonna die.